Welcome back to FFP, amigos. And finally, Chelsea win. We win. We defeat the Hammers at Stamford Bridge. It was a very, 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 very scrappy win with a very scrappy own goal is what it took for us to make it past this test today. And we needed this result really, really bad. Interesting things that we looked at. Maresca finally shifted Palmer, put in another 10, changed the shape a little bit with the changes, did a changes in the 50th minute, which we really needed. We missed that from a long time ago. He finally tried Gu. Not that many of these things had a direct impact in the game, but finally, when things are not working out, we saw some sort of attempt in a timely manner. It paid off, not necessarily because of that again, but beautiful to look at. And oh my God, look at that. We're smiling. We're living cool. We're living large. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you. Thank you, Pedro Neto. Pedro. Hell yes. Thank you. Anyway, let's discuss it. Let's look at it. When I looked at the lineups coming up, a couple of surprises. I can't say I was surprised in terms of what should be, in football terms, that Jorgensen was going to start this game. But it wouldn't have surprised me if Maresca stuck by his guns, because he stuck by his gun way longer than he should have. But so good to see Jorgensen. Today, he didn't have to do anything extraordinary. He did his job when he was called upon. That's all I can ask. Happy to see him. Happy to see that change. What was a surprise is that Chalobah was out and Tosin in. But when I thought about it after a little bit, one, I like Tosin. I don't really mind. And two, I think it was for height. He's really good up in the air. And we were going to need that against West Ham more than likely. That was probably the thought process there. Madueke, I didn't want to see him. And again, I put on my lineup that I knew Madueke was going to play in my preview. If you guys want to watch it, I wanted Neto to play, and he proved today why. Otherwise, it was kind of a predictable lineup, not many places to go. I did see that Joao Felix was not in the squad, so I'm assuming as you're watching this video, he's gone because we only have 1 hour left in the window. And we've been calling forever, and so sad to see something like this worked. We were saying, move Palmer to the right. When things are not working, move Palmer to the right. If he's not having a good game either, if he's being locked out, if they're building a cage around him, put him on the right, man. Bring in Joao Felix as the 10. Same for Nkunku, but today he was ineffective too. But kind of just the point, to move the most talented player into a new space where he can probably do something, where he proved amazing under Pochettino, and bring another 10, which I think, Joao, I think you're gone. He would have been great. In any case, today we did at least a shift and we tried something new. And also, we'll get into it. During the game, what happened, another very interesting, very good sub that he did. Bowen was back for this game, which was honestly terrifying, and he proved why. What a good player he is. Kudus, what fight. I think West Ham did a good player and had a great game. And actually, to start off, good job, Graham Potter. Harry Potter, good job. Good job. You set up your team properly. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious now. I was watching this with Benson, so a lot of the stuff I'll probably mention Benson. Again, give him a like, subscribe, follow him if you're a Chelsea fan. I think he's like the OG. He was the first creator that I followed. So shout out to you, George Benson. In any case, they set up and they didn't let Chelsea play, man. And they did. It's obvious what to do now to play against Chelsea. Low block. Nice and organized, hold on tight, and counter wide, and you're in trouble. And today, the counter wide thing proved even more scary, because now you got on one side Colwell, which had a terrible match today, and on the other side you got a James that today was beaten by a not fast player pretty bad, where he entered his yellow. So that was pretty bad. But in any case, we start the game, and the only things that I saw was two good balls in, long balls, which again, I'm not against that, man, because when you're against the low block and you're tight, if you find a good ball, and we actually did. There was 2 runs we found Jackson in on the box. One pass I think was from Caicedo, and the other one was all the way in the back from Tosin, I may not be mistaken, and in the box. Unfortunately, one of them, he did well. He took a shot, got a corner, and the other one, he just couldn't control the ball. But if he had a finer first touch, you're on goal. You're on goal, because when they're doing this low block thing and holding back, they're not really expecting you. And they're not expecting Chelsea to pepper a ball in behind the center backs, or in between the fullbacks and the center backs. So it worked for a little bit. From a corner, Bowen took a shot, but Jorgensen, we got to praise, he was just in the right spot and didn't do anything crazy. That made me happy. And, but we're starting to be imprecise. The first half is not looking good. We're not playing well. Palmer's blasts a shot all over, to 20 feet off a goal from a good Jackson pass that holds up play, which he does that well, man. He holds up play and he left the pass down for Palmer, but he didn't do anything about it. Then Cucurella, a terrible header. Crosses are coming in. And I'm seeing, some Chelsea fans are frustrated with us putting in too many crosses. But if you're not breaking the lines, at some point you have to do that. The question was and is, why the hell is Cucurella the only dude that knows how to do a proper win to find himself at the end of a cross? And he's scored a couple for us that way. And today he had an opportunity again for that. But yes, I expect hopefully with a different number 9 or somebody to come into the rotation at least will be some at the end of some of those crosses. Crossing is part of football, and it's a great thing to do at times when you can't break through, and you have somebody that can do it with movement. Again, you can do it. You can find past the other fullback on the other side as well. Like, it's not always just a cross to a big 9. There's many things that we can gain from that. In any case, that's kind of all we had going on. And again, in the middle, like Caicedo, great pass to Jackson. Caicedo had an amazing game. And after this, he misses the shot. Jackson seemed to land on his hamstring. And even though you guys are not a fan, when he looked like he was injured, that's scary, man. Even though he's not scoring and we don't want him, he's the only out-and-out number 9 other than Gu, which today they played him. Fantastic. But normally they don't have much of trust in him. Sorry about that noise. They don't have much trust in him. And he's a very young one, right? So we don't have the depth to afford to lose. I don't know if the next few minutes that'll change. I don't think so. In any case, at one point, Chelsea had 7 shots. And this was I wrote it down here. It's 30th minute. None on target. 36th minute. 7 or 8 shots. None on target. And West Ham actually had more shots on target in the first half, even though they barely had the ball, barely attack, and were holding in a low block. Chelsea fans know what it's like to be a team that could defend and counter and be more effective and kill you. And we know it because we used to be that, and now we know it because they do it to us on a weekly basis. They've been doing it to us for weeks on end. And in case 40th minute, on the counter, Sancho shoots, which is good, but he misses. And then 41st minute, Colwill can't handle the press. And he makes a rookie mistake, man. He pretty much gives Bowen a pass. You don't pass that way. You don't pass if you're on the edge, on one of the lines on one of the sides of the pitch. You don't pass towards the center again, especially in that part of the field. Terrible mistake. And then he was complaining he was fouled. He wasn't fouled. He was just under pressure. Just, here you go, buddy, to an amazing player. Put Chelsea down 1-0. Horrible. 45th minute. Palmer takes a beautiful free kick. But what a save from Areola. He had a good match too. He did really well. And what are you going to do? Sometimes they don't go in, but it's good to see. And it's good to see James putting in. Our corners are better. It wasn't like this. We were doing this for weeks, guys. Just hitting it to the first post and just losing. No chance of, hitting the ball back. We weren't winning them. They weren't effective at all. And now it's good to see that at least they look more dangerous. They cause uncertainty in the defense at least. We're still not converting, but we'll get there hopefully. Well, we need somebody other than James taking them because today he was a little bit exposed, I think, in the second half. But it was a boring half. Intensity. There was no intensity from Chelsea. That was a real concern. And the fans, I think, were a little deflated. Obviously, won now, and it looks like we're not going to win. And West Ham, they were really well organized and deserved the result they were taking so far. And then in the 50th minute, my thoughts, I wrote it down literally, guys. Thank God. Thank God it's early and we made some changes. I don't know if it would have been Neto for sure and Gu in for Jackson. Absolutely. So right after that, something that not many of you notice or care about, but I do, which was Caicedo was in a battle, obviously recovering and just kicking ass constantly, and recovers the ball. And he got the second West Ham player who stops him from a counter attack by running into him and committing a pretty strong foul. And he kind of pushes him loose. The goal and the ref sees him push it and lets him get away with it. And he just turns to the guy and is like, off. So, and I'm sure you said it with a little bit of a British accent, picking up his English, showing some fight. Vamos, Caicedo. That's what I want you to do. I think it's the first time he's caught on camera giving an insult in English. So he's picking up the language at the right time for the right reasons, for the right moment, bringing that intensity to the Chelsea midfield. And then, Nkunku comes on for Noni, which, again, it's not really about Nkunku because I don't think he's going to be good there, but it's about shifting Palmer, which I thought he was going to go totally to the right, but a lot of his plays came from the left. The point being is that he can evacuate that space. And to be fair, Enzo Fernandez took up a lot of that space. He had a great game. It didn't look quiet, but his movement was good. So that allows him to come in, and James Augusto right on time because, again, James got exposed by a not fast player, just destroyed him on speed on the wing, and he got a yellow for it. Man, that was quick, Maresca. That was timely. Get him out. And put in Gusto, which you guys remember. Gusto was probably one of our best players under Pochettino last season, playing wide. And today he did a good job. I don't know why people were beating up on him for no apparent reason. And then just a couple of minutes later, Neto scores. He delivers a great cross. Again, people, I don't know what they have against the crosses. Crosses can be good. He puts in a beautiful one, which produces an opportunity to goal. Rebound comes, and he slots it in. And again, not the cleanest of goals. It didn't come from like a great play. It's a rebound. We needed it. We got it. We're fighting. And honestly, there's a little bit of chaos. I was a little disappointed again with Colwell today. He lost the line defensively. He wasn't lined up a couple of times, and that generated opportunity. He was a little bit lost, to be honest. And in that case, on form, even though Holland, put down our central defenders and Chalobah didn't follow a run against City, I think there might be consideration that Chalobah lines up on the left center back rather than Colwell after today's performance. So don't be surprised about that. In any case, Neto scores. And on the 73rd minute, Palmer really wanted to cross. And I think one of the best players, Kudu's a lot of fight. You got to give props to West Ham. They defended well. Their goalkeeper was amazing. Areola was amazing. Wan-Bissaka, everybody was trashing him. You guys watching in my pre-match video. To me, he was like player of the match up until a point. And where are you, United fans? Where are you? Because you wish you had him. You need, like I said, even last video, even Emerson, anybody in left back, because you got literally no bodies. And he was having a good match. But unfortunately for him, Chelsea starts stalking the box and peppering him. And I'm starting to have some hope, which is just it's a scarcity nowadays for a Chelsea fan for the last couple of weeks. And it had to be Palmer in this weird position, right? He's sort of on the left-hand side when he was called in. I think he would have shifted to the right. But hey, I think that's one of the job that Nkunku did that people didn't notice. He pulled that space out and created that space during play for Palmer to slot into. And yeah, it looks like he was trying to give a cross. I don't care. Gets diverted. I don't care. I wish he would have gotten the goal, but it doesn't matter. We have it. And then something happens with the changes. And even though we're at risk, I am feeling like different than the other games. Like, I think, yes, there's a chance West Ham can score this, but I think we have a really good chance of holding on to this result. And it pays off. Obviously, they added 7 minutes because there was this whole VAR with the goal. There was a huge risk that the Neto wasn't going to be a goal. And guys, honestly, it could have been in credit to the VAR because there's not enough video evidence. This is how I understood it, right? That if the ball touched his head, and if it touched his head, Cucurella would have been offside, and that wouldn't have counted as a goal. And you can interpret it as he did like barely touch it or didn't, but then they favor the offensive position, right? It's not clear enough to deny the goal, so the goal stands. So if that's how that played out, good. Thank you, VAR, for letting us have that goal, or else we would have been in trouble. And those 7 minutes added, so that took like 3 minutes, plus the substitutes. Although I hated it and I yelled and we complained as Chelsea fans, the 7 minutes added, they were warranted. And we clinged on, man. It wasn't nice. And actually, Tosin saved our butt cheeks again, clenched them real tight, with a crucial block in our box, and we managed to survive it. So again, Wan-Bissaka, unfortunate for him, the own goal. Jared Bowen, man, what a good player. What fight that they had. I'm just trying to give credit. And I think Potter played the right game to play Chelsea. I've been saying it forever. Tighten the back, compressed, low block, counter wide. We just happened to survive it. We didn't play in anything. So Maresca, again, I will never call you stronzo di merda ever again. As long as you do what you got to do. And again, it's not, look, man, I'm humble. I'm not here he's obviously more knowledgeable than me and more than all the fans and stuff. But I think sometimes when you're inside, you can't see things that, or you don't want to see, or there's stuff happening that we don't see in the back, in the locker room. But I'm glad to see that today Jorgensen came in, that we did the early changes. And again, if we lose a match when we're trying and we make the changes and we're trying new plays and it doesn't work, or our players are fighting and they're putting in the battle and it doesn't work out, fine. Us, the fans, we just want you to fight. We just want you to try. We just want you to, when you see things that are sort of evident to us, that there's a reaction. And at the end, it started looking like a London derby, to be honest. Sloppy, but there was some cojones and there was some fight. And then there was a battle, and there was some running and some pulling and some biting and scrappy goals. And if that's what it takes, venga papa, let's do it. So thank you very much, Chelsea, for that win. I will be making some videos in midweek again. To all of you, please comment, like, subscribe. And as always, come on, you Blues. Yes.